Here we have the Philodendron painted lady, a really cool marbly looking plant with neat variegation, but actually super easy to care for. In fact, if you already grow other philodendron, you should have success with this one. We don't grow this any differently than we do any other philodendron. They're a little bit more expensive, they're a little bit harder to find in June of 2022, but they're still very, very easy to grow. They do prefer to go upwards, so giving them something to climb is going to be advantageous, and you'll actually achieve like a more mature leaf. You'll get the leaves will get larger. But anyway, you can let it trail too if you want to. You can kind of see we have it trailing a little bit now. But for long-term success, I would recommend staking it. It doesn't necessarily need to be a moss pole, but just giving it some sort of support to go upward. But let's get into the care instruction for this one. This plant needs very bright light, okay? Not necessarily like a south window or a west window that's crazy hot. You know, if you know you have a really hot south window or a west window, maybe back it up from there a little bit. But the plant does need to see a wide view of the sky. If you're not sure what I mean by that, we have a really good video, at least I think it's a really good video, about the difference between bright light, medium light, and low light. Definitely recommend checking that out so you can kind of gauge where the plant should be. Light is the most important aspect of houseplant care, so it's really important that we get that right. Now, their growing period is going to be pretty much all of the warm months if you live in the United States. Spring through summer is when they're going to be actively growing. And during that period, we like to let them dry out 25% in between watering. So that means we let the soil dry out right about here, and then we give the plant a really good soak. And in the winter time, the fall and the winter months, the plant will go dormant. There's very little new growth. You might not see any new growth at all. That's perfectly normal with these guys during that dormancy period. And during those months, we water when the plant is about 50% dry. So we let about half the soil dry out in between watering. It's important to note, though, that regardless of the season, growing season or dormancy season, we're going to give our plant a full soak regardless, okay? So when the plant is ready to be watered in its prospective season, your job is to saturate every bit of soil in the pot. That's how we're going to establish a really good, healthy root system. Speaking of the roots, when they start coming out of these bottom drainage holes, that's a good indication that the plant needs to be watered, okay? So check out for that. Now, if the roots don't come out of there after about a year or two, it'd be a good idea to repot the plant. When we repot, we just go up one size larger. So this is in an 8-inch pot. I would go up to a 9-inch pot, maybe a 10-inch pot at most. I wouldn't go any larger than that, though. It increases your chances of root rot. For soil, we like to use an aeroid mix. We sell that here at our store, but you can make your own at home. It's 1 part houseplant soil mixed with 1 part orchid bark mixed with 1 part perlite. And you can substitute the perlite for other ingredients like cactus soil or pumice stone. Anything that's going to create more drainage down here and get more airiness and chunkiness to those roots is going to be really advantageous. As far as fertilizing goes, we just do that while the plant is actively growing. So again, spring through summer months, right? And we use a general purpose fertilizer. You can use liquid soluble, you can use granular, it doesn't really matter. A general purpose houseplant soil is going to be perfectly fine with these. If you just want to get like a 10-10-10, 15-15, 15-20-20-20, it's going to be perfectly fine. But that's going to do it for the care instructions for the Philodendron painted lady. If you already grow this plant, I want to know how you do it in the comments below. But other than that, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best.